The Forest Rights Act, FRA, in India, enacted in 2006, aimed to rectify historical injustices against forest dwellers by recognizing individual and community forest rights. However, after 17 years, the implementation of FRA faces challenges such as political opportunism, forester resistance, and bureaucratic apathy. The colonial legacy of considering forests as state property and subsequent injustices, including forced resettlements, complicates the process. While some states recognize individual rights, the incomplete recognition of community forest rights hampers decentralized forest governance. The article emphasizes the need for understanding and upholding the spirit of FRA to address historical injustices and democratize forest governance.
The article discusses the impact of Houthi militia threats in the Red Sea following their announcement of support for Gaza during the Israel-Hamas conflict. The Red Sea, a critical waterway, is gaining geopolitical significance, with incidents of Houthi aggression against commercial vessels. The United States is deploying military resources to counter these threats, urging partners to join a multinational task force. The article highlights the global implications, especially for Asian economies like India, Japan, South Korea, and China. Non-state actors, including militant groups, play a role in the evolving geopolitical landscape, emphasizing the need for a progressive approach to address challenges.
The Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has appointed Bhajan Lal Sharma, a debutant member of the Legislative Assembly, as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, aiming to reassure the Brahman community a significant support base. This move signals the party's commitment to diversity, appointing deputy chief ministers from different communities, including a Rajput and a Dalit. Sharma, with roots in the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, represents a shift in power, sidelining the previous leadership, including Vasundhara Raje. As the second Brahman chief minister, Sharma faces the challenge of fulfilling BJP's campaign promises, managing fiscal issues, and maintaining social balance.
India's goods exports, after a brief improvement in October, contracted by 2.8% in November to $33.9 billion, while imports fell by 4.33% to $54.5 billion, reducing the merchandise trade deficit to $20.6 billion. Although the decline in imports was substantial, it was an improvement from October's record high. The statistical fluctuations indicate the weakest export values in a year. Factors like reduced demand for high-value goods and lower global prices influenced the decline in imports. Economists anticipate the deficit to range between $20 billion and $25 billion in the remaining months, emphasizing the need for India to enhance competitiveness.
The article discusses the importance of delimitation in preserving political equality in liberal democracies, focusing on both quantitative and qualitative aspects. Quantitative dilution occurs when votes have unequal weight due to population deviations among constituencies, while qualitative dilution involves gerrymandering to reduce a voter's chance of electing a preferred representative. India's constitution includes safeguards, Articles 81, 170, 327, 330, and 332 for fair delimitation. The author emphasizes the need to address both types of dilution, especially qualitative dilution that affects minority representation. The article highlights the historical context of delimitation commissions in India and urges timely action to maintain population representation parity.
Cyclone Michaung caused an oil spill from Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited's refinery in Ennonali, affecting the Buckingham Canal and Kosasthalia River. Despite delayed action and downplaying the ecological disaster, remediation efforts began 8 days later, led by a 20-member Oil Spill Crisis Management Committee. The cleanup involves 300 workers and machinery, with 50 tons of oil-laden sludge removed. Remediation is expected by 19 December, but concerns exist about the spread of oil to Kasimedu Harbour and Pulicat backwaters. The Enno region has a history of pollution, and wetlands restoration efforts have faced government reluctance.
Last Wednesday, 4 individuals protested in India's Lok Sabha, highlighting the government's failure to address unemployment. D. Manoranjan, Sagar Sharma, Neelam Verma, and Amol Shinde, either unemployed or dissatisfied with their employment status, staged the protest. Employment indicators from the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy reveal a decline in the labor force participation rate, LFPR, to 39.5% in FY23, the lowest since FY17. The unemployment rate, UR, was 7.6% in FY23, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. The LFPR dropped by 7 percentage points from 2016 to 2023, indicating a persistent unemployment issue in India.
The Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, appointment, conditions of office, and terms of office, Bill 2023, recently passed by the Rajya Sabha, outlines the procedure for appointing the Chief Election Commissioner, CEC, and other election commissioners, ECs. The bill proposes a selection committee, including the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and a Union Cabinet Minister, to recommend candidates to the President for appointment. This mechanism replaces the Supreme Court's recommendation, which included the Chief Justice of India, CJI, in the selection process. The bill awaits approval from the Lok Sabha to become law, raising concerns about potential government influence.
On 26 November, unidentified gunmen attacked military barracks, police stations, and correctional centers in Freetown, Sierra Leone, in an unsuccessful coup attempt to overthrow the government. The country faces political instability following contested election results, economic challenges with a high cost of living and poverty, and police aggression during protests. President Julius Maada Bio's economic policies have worsened the crisis, leading to violent protests in 2022. The government responded with curfews, a cash reward for information on coup leaders, and heightened security. Sierra Leone is a member of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS.
The European Union's Artificial Intelligence (AI) Act is a groundbreaking legislative effort to regulate AI technologies within the EU, focusing on creating a regulatory framework, mitigating risks, and establishing guidelines. The Act employs a risk-based approach, categorizing AI applications into different risk levels and prohibiting certain unacceptable practices. Emphasizing transparency and accountability, it mandates clear information disclosure by developers and introduces independent conformity assessments for high-risk AI applications. Critics express concerns about challenges in defining AI categories, potential hindrance to EU businesses' competitiveness, and imposing burdens on smaller players. The Act is expected to influence global AI development and collaboration among regulatory authorities.
The UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency approved hexagamglogene autotemcel, a CRISPR-based therapy, to treat sickle cell disease and transfusion-dependent thalassemia. The US FDA also approved it for sickle cell disease, making it one of the first CRISPR-based therapeutics approved by both major regulators. The therapy, named Casgevy, involves modifying a patient's blood stem cells to remove the genetic defect causing sickling. This approval marks a transformative era in medicine, with CRISPR technologies advancing from academic pursuit to clinical applications. However, concerns about safety, accuracy, and potential off-target effects highlight the need for continued scrutiny and surveillance.